And welcome to the Rest is Football. Today's episode we're filming on a Thursday evening with Micah Richards, Alan Shearer, and me, Gary Lineker, to get it out to you so you can have it first thing on Friday. We're not going to take in tonight's matches, but we will discuss at length those that have been played over the last couple of days. You two were doing Match of the Day last night, midweek, late one. Managed to scrounge this one off quite some time ago.
It was bloody brilliant. You know why?
Because Newcastle won, Al.
Correct.
Oh, listen.
Yeah, it was good actually. There was a couple of decent games, wasn't there?
You have got turning every subject known to man into talking about Newcastle off to a T. I mean, it's almost an art form. We just texting on the group chat, and I sent you all a clip of Lamelle nutmegging someone, and it was a beautiful bit of football. And he's gone, well, he's no Jacob Murphy. I mean, every single thing.
Come on, lads, give me a bit of slack. I got to cheer when things are going well. We've been, over the years, we've had our fair share of shit, haven't we? So, yeah, things are going well. So I'm pushing it.
You know what's hilarious is when Al's doing his analysis, he's got like different pitches for his voice. So he'll do analysis, he'll explain things really well, he'll go into detail. As soon as he's doing Newcastle, and Isak, he's positioning there, he's got absolutely everything. He can shoot from anywhere. He is sensational. Oh my goodness. It's hilarious to see. You can just see him getting all excited before he's about to do his analysis on Newcastle. Wow.
Well, let's start with Newcastle then. Now we're on the subject. I was going to start with the North London derby, but it doesn't matter. We're talking about Newcastle anyway. And even when we talk about the North London derby, you'll probably bring in the Magpies at some point. They are looking good though, Alan. I mean, the transformation in the last few weeks has been stark.
I mean, they've gone from within, 4.5 weeks, they've gone from 12th to 4th, hardly conceding, looking impressive all over the pitch. Every single player is playing so well, and they look a proper team. Obviously, key to that is Isak and keeping him fit. Scored in 8 games on the row now. I think he's got 16 in 16 games, which is phenomenal. I mean, I was out today with 7 of my pals. I went to play golf up the coast, and that's all they're talking about. They're all at the game last night, and they're loving what they're watching at the minute. And yeah. It's a happy place, is the tune at the minute.
He's in a rich vein of form, Isak. He's a player we've obviously admired for a long time. I think what he's benefiting from is a really long period where he's not been injured. So he's up to his absolute peak. You can tell his confidence, even when he talks, before games or after games. He's in that area, Alan, that and I know that when things are going for you, you just know you go on the pitch feeling that you're sure to score. And what is it, 8 games on the bounce now? Did that not beat one of your joint records? You had it with
Joe Willock, wasn't it? Yeah,
Willock came in, didn't he, and scored 7 on the bounce as well. Yeah. So I'm sure you was there a graphic? Did a graphic go up last night?
Yes,
or not?
there was a graphic, and Alan wasn't on it, which was fantastic. Gary.
Which he took great delight in picking out, didn't you, Micah?
It was a graphic where Isak had scored 8 in 8, so it was 8 upwards to, I think it was Vardy.
Vardy holds the record. He beat Van Nistelrooy's record of 10, didn't he? 11 in Leicester's title-winning season. See, I've brought it to Leicester. Although actually the last thing I want to mention is Leicester at any point.
By the way, do you reckon he can do it? Because the next 3 league games Newcastle have got, I think, are Bournemouth at home, Southampton away, and Fulham at home. And that would take him to 11. I mean,
it's possible. Well, very possible.
Not bad games.
How good is he, Alan? On a serious note, where does he stand at the moment alongside the best number 9s in world football at present? I know he's on a rich vein of form, but overall package.
Yeah, he's right up there. He's the best in the Premier League at the minute. Everything he's doing is just full of confidence. He's got great belief. His feet are so quick. And if you give him space to run into, then you've got no chance. And he's a very, very good finisher. He's the whole package. There's no doubt about it. He's only 25, still can can improve and get better. But he's great to watch. He's just got this style, and he just looks so confident and arrogant in a great way, because he's, as you rightly say, he's just got that belief that he's untouchable at the minute, and what a feeling that is. Do
you know the fourth game is, if he equals Vardy's record, the fourth game to beat it is?
Is it Liverpool away?
No, City away.
Oh, is it City away? Right, wow.
And they're certainly a bit fragile at the moment, as we saw in that game as well. Gordon's playing well as well. I mean, they all are right around the pitch. They've got that dynamism to their side. They've got that energy that was...
Compare Newcastle's recruitment to Man United's recruitment over the last 3 or 4 years. Newcastle's recruitment has been off the charts. 2 fullbacks, got every chance of playing for England for a long time. Botman, Tonali in the midfield, Bruno Guimaraes in the midfield, Anthony Gordon on the left, Isak up top. Their recruitment has been off the charts impressive. And that is such a huge part of football. And that's one of the reasons why they're looking so good.
Pope as well, Al.
Pope as well, yeah.
Great sign. I know he's out at the moment, but he's been a top signing.
Even Fabian Schär before that. I mean, I think he cost £3 million, which is like ridiculous. And by the way, we haven't mentioned how Eddie's getting the best out of Jacob Murphy, how he's getting the best out of Dan Burns So they're all playing their part, guys.
Too gnarly though.
Too gnarly, yeah.
Too gnarly. This guy's a special player. Honestly, when I watch him, his football intelligence is off the scale. His work rate, you did a clip as well yesterday at the end of your analysis, didn't you, Al, when he was just talking about his work rate, but his passing, just watch him, the way he receives the ball, how he's always on the half turn. He's always available for that pass. Yes, of course, you've got runners in midfield, Joe Linton and Bruno, but Tonali's the one. I think since he's come into the team, I think they've been different. I think Newcastle have tried certain things. I remember doing analysis on Gordon when he went to the right. He put a nice ball into the box and it looked like they was getting better, but I think Tonali's the difference. He's class.
And the other important aspect of their recruitment is Eddie Howe.
Yeah, brilliant.
What an inspired decision that's turned out to be. I think we all always thought that he was a really, really good coach, intelligent, and plays a kind of football that is extremely pleasing on the eye, particularly when they're going well and they've got the energy. I think occasionally you've seen the dip in energy and then they can perhaps struggle, but if they can maintain that sort of dynamic and this sort of form, which is not easy, obviously, to be so good consistently, but even if they can, carry on at even close to current levels, they'll have a real chance of a Champions League spot, particularly now it looks like being 5 teams.
He's improved every single player, and I think that's one of the biggest compliments we can actually pay him. And I use those 2 as examples. I mean, Jacob Murphy been phenomenal this season, and Dan Burn, who obviously didn't cost a lot of money, but the way he's got those 2 playing in particular, just absolutely, yeah. He's a fantastic coach. And we talk about, you just mentioned it there about philosophies and playing out from the back, and Newcastle don't mind doing that, but they do it at the right time. There's no problem with the goalkeeper launching it and kicking it long when they have to. He's a very, very good coach and doing a great job.
Yeah, let's move on to the North London derby.
Arsenal!
You always turn it around to the team you support, don't you?
Arsenal!
Oh dear. Yeah. I mean, Spurs took the lead and you thought, oh, come on, Hank. And then within the space of a couple of minutes, they were trailing again. But they needed that probably, Arsenal. Well, so did Spurs. It was a big game for both clubs. And, Tottenham are really struggling in the league. What might save them is perhaps one of the cup competitions. But, I mean, you have to take into account the injuries that they've got in the central defence and goalkeeper, because that's, the big positions to lose players. But it is a bit worrying at the moment, I think, for people that follow Spurs or used to play for them.
What's the biggest problem for Spurs then, guys? I mean,
I think generally the way they play, they really do need their first team defenders, particularly I think, Van de Ven, because of his pace. Although they didn't really play the Spurs way, particularly yesterday, because Arsenal, I thought, dominated the ball mostly. I think Postecoglou came out and said we lost our identity in this game. He wasn't happy at all. It said it was unacceptable. But he does get a bit down in those moments. You can see that, you can understand it. But
you say that though. Did you see where Porro was again when the first goal went in? They lost the ball in the middle and he's so far forward and they get done, and then Trossard's in that left-hand side position, Spurs is right, and but it would be, I know they've got the injuries to two centre-halves and the goalkeeper, and we said this, didn't we, but it would be the lack of fight and the lack of play and everything else, particularly in the first half, which would be worrying for Spurs fans.
Arsenal, given the fact that Liverpool, I wouldn't say stuttered. They've dropped points in recent weeks. And, it's a tough place to go, Forest, and they got a point there. But Arsenal back in, you still think they're in the title race? I think they're the most likely challengers. With, who knows, Nottingham Forest could keep going. But I think Arsenal are realistically the only challengers, do you think? Or
look at him smiling, because he said basically yesterday Newcastle are involved in a title challenge. On form, I probably wouldn't disagree with that. But I'm still worried with Arsenal, guys, in terms of in open play. And I know they got the goal with Trossard on sort of the mistake, and the pressed really Arsenal. A lovely finish. But again, relying on set pieces at times, I still think that they're finding it hard to break teams down.
Why do you think that is, Micah? Because last season before, they were really good. Obviously Saka's out now, and Odegaard was out for much of the season. So for a lot of the percentage of the season, they've been without one or the other of probably their best two players.
I think they've become a little bit predictable. I think they creating chances. They've not got a natural goal scorer. I like Havertz. I think he's done a brilliant job, but he's missed a few big chances. I think they've become too reliant on Saka. I think Odegaard being out, he seems as though he's back to his best now. Martinelli, I think when Arsenal play and they go down the right-hand side and Saka does something special and they double up and you got Odegaard to come back in the number 10 role and then spray it out to the other side. But Trossard's not been playing amazingly well this season. Martinelli's been off it. They brought in Sterling. He's not hit the heights we all expected. So I just think they've become too predictable at times, too reliant on set pieces. And I think they need a different option up front just to stretch attacks, something a little bit different. I don't know if I won't say it's lack of belief, but there's something in it when you're going into the game with Arsenal where you're thinking they've got all the tools, but they just don't manage to get over the line in the way you expect. But I think in January, if they get a striker, it could all change.
How many clubs are saying that if we get a striker?
I know, but look at the amount of chances that Arsenal create at times.
Be a good name for a podcast, wouldn't it? If they get a striker.
Yeah. There's so many strikers out there,
Well, there is. What is there? We just mentioned one before, didn't we? Got Jonathan David, Šeško, Osimhen.
Yes.
Delap, possibly. We don't even mention another one because there's no chance he's leaving Newcastle.
Al, should we do a bit of business here? What do you want for him?
No one could afford him.
Priceless.
They couldn't afford him because of the rules. I genuinely believe that.
It's a good point. But they are strong at the back, though, Arsenal. They don't concede that many goals, do they?
Yeah, I think they've been all right. Not all right. They've been very good. I think Saliba, Gabriel. I think Isak had a good game against them, though, the other week. He ran him ragged a little bit. But Lewis Skelly's coming to the team at left-back has been outstanding.
I know exactly why you went, they're all right. Because he's just gone to me over there, they didn't get me a clean sheet.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I knew it.
And the own goal, Gabriel gets the header. He didn't get an assist. He got me 1 point or 2 points yesterday. I was devastated.
He didn't get an assist for that.
I didn't get an assist for it. I couldn't believe it.
How do we get it onto fantasy football? It's almost as predictable as Alan talking about Newcastle. Spurs, 5 points out of a possible 27. I hate these conversations, but is Postecoglou job under threat? I suppose only one person knows that, and that's probably Daniel Levy, really.
Well, yeah, because you know the rules as a manager. If you don't win games, then you're under pressure, and they're not. I know they've got mitigating circumstances with the injuries, but they have to improve in doing what they're doing. And I said it again about their two best players last night were two of their youngsters, Bergvall and young Archie Gray.
I think they've got big futures, those two.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Yeah. But going away to Arsenal and two of your younger players like that, or your best players, then yeah, that sort of tells its own story with Spurs. I know they've got the Carabao, and they've got a lead there that they need to protect it at Anfield. But league form is dreadful.
Really is. On that somber note, let's take a break and we'll discuss the other fixtures when we come back. Welcome back to The Rest is Football with Alan Shearer and Micah Richardson, me, Gary Lineker, reviewing the midweek fixtures, rather Tuesday and Wednesday fixtures. David Moyes, first game at Everton, didn't get any bounce. Same problem, really.
Yeah, can't score, struggle to pass it. Not a good recipe for success, is it, in football? He's taken a massive job on in terms of...
Do you think his heart has ruled his head here a little bit? It's a big club, Everton. It's a proper football.
Yeah, I know the pull of Everton for him and everything else, but I'd be surprised if he's not on a promise of bringing a couple of players in at least in January. Absolutely, they need it because... Yeah, it's... he's not a magician, is he, Dave? He's a very, very good coach, but he's not a magician. And their performances and their lack of goals tell you all you need to know that they're in for one incredible slog in between now and the end of the season.
What's happened to Calvert-Lewin, guys, as strikers? Because a couple of years ago, he was in really good form, good in the air, he was strong. I know he's had his injuries, but what's he going through as a striker, or is it just lack of service to him? Are his best days behind him? What's happening here?
It's hard to know. I suppose if you look back at his career, there's been a decent season or two. He's got all the attributes. He's not a clean finisher, and that for a striker is an issue. You can see he's never going to be a 20, 25 goals a season player, even in a side that's really attacking and has got creative players. I don't know. I think in the end in football, you find your level.
I think you have to play really direct football because one of his big strengths, obviously, is he's really, really good in the air, and you have to rain crosses in at every opportunity for him. I don't know who or what he is in terms of his lifestyle, or whether he loves football or doesn't, or whatever. I don't know. But he's having a really tough time in front of goal. He missed a big chance, didn't he, last night? And
the longer these kind of runs go on, the worse it gets, and it's difficult. But they haven't got too many options up there. I think Brozier got injured when he came on. It's going to be tough for David. And hopefully Everton are in a position that they can invest, obviously new people. So we'll have to wait and see over the next couple of weeks what happens before the transfer window. We actually got a bit stick, on social media because when Sean Dyche lost his job, and we did an episode and we talked about, and they thought we were too light on him.
Really?
It was the right time to get rid of him, and we said it's a big gamble because the chances are he might keep them up, but so I don't know. I think part of it, you don't want to kick a man when he's down anyway, and he's lost his job. But I think last season he did an amazing job to keep them up with the points deduction and everything else, and they did play some attacking football with lots of crosses. But he's a direct coach. He's a kind of old-fashioned English style of coach, but he does know what he's doing. But so time will tell on that decision. But I think one thing Everton have done, they've not brought in a massive change in style with David Moyes. I don't know whether you would agree with that, because he's also very disciplined, and it would have been a massive change for them to suddenly get a coach that wants to play out from the back and do all the stuff that they do in the modern game. And I think that would have been very dangerous halfway through the season.
That's why I'm guessing, and it was only a guess, that they've said to David that they can bring a player or two in during January, because it's an incredible gamble from the club and perhaps from him as well, because I mean, they're not a good football team at the minute, and he's not a magician.
I don't think we was too soft. I think we give context to the overall time there with the signings that they have. We thought with the points deduction, Dyche did really well. Went on a bit of a run, didn't they, last season? This season, they've kept some good clean sheets. All their best players are the defenders and the goalkeeper, in my opinion. So, yeah, I don't... We say it's a gamble because the team are used to playing one way, and Dyche has kept them in the league. And the point that we was making was maybe it's the right time for Dyche to go at the end of the season if they want to go in a different direction, new stadium, and play a different brand of football. But I still stand by the tools that Dyche had to work with. He did a very good job. But I also said last time, I agree that the style of football at times that fans want to see, it's not that. But I think the job in hand at Everton at the moment, with all the problems they've had to go through, was stay in the league. And I think Dyche was well equipped to do that.
I agreed. Good win for Aston Villa, though. Ollie Watkins, friend of the pod, Morgan Rogers, nice little part he played in the goal.
Yeah, he had a big chance, didn't he, first half with a terrible back pass from Ashley Young, and he had a 1v1 and missed that one. But he was more than confident with the ball that was played through to him from Morgan Rogers. I mean, Everton lost the ball again, good through ball, and he finished it off really, really well, didn't he? Stuck it under Pickford when he was coming running out. So another goal for him and another win for Villa.
Aston Villa need a big shout out because I thought they would struggle a little bit more in the league, having going into the Champions League. They managed to balance both competitions very well. Obviously, the FA Cup comes into it as well. I just think they've been outstanding. They had a little bit of a blip, which you expect. They've brought in Marlon as well, who's electric from Dortmund. I love him. He was going to fit exactly into their style with the pace. Running down the wing. So I'm excited for Villa.
Leicester, and 6 straight defeats in the league. Big FA Cup win in the middle of that. So 4 points from a possible 24 since Ruud van Nistelrooy took over. You said it was a gamble. He said after the game, there is hope there. There's spirit there in the team. But today is a big blow. I think it's the lowest we've felt so far in my spell. It's a worry when you concede the amount of goals we do at the moment. It's hard to win games. And he's hit the nail on the head. Leicester concede too many, and it's put more pressure on them scoring goals, which they were doing fairly freely, but that seems to have dried up. They actually, in the first half, they played quite well. They dominated the game and had 1 or 2 chances. I watched it with my youngest, Angus, and we were going, that classic one Alan was saying, if we haven't scored in the first half, it'll be different in the second, and so it proved to be. But pretty much everyone lost down at the bottom. We'll see what Ipswich and Southampton do tonight, but another good win for Crystal Palace. I didn't think they were at their best, but they certainly improved in the second half. But we must talk about Forest and Liverpool, 2 teams right at the top there in the top 3. And, well, Forest, gave a great account of themselves yet again, got in the lead, and we were thinking, blimey, if they go on to win and Chris Wood's season carries on, and they do remind me very much of the Leicester team that went on to win the league in 2016. And they've got 3 or 4 players who are flying. They're really solid defensively. They don't give much away, and they're very good on the counter-attack. So many similarities.
We've said it. I mean, Chris Wood, another goal. The centre-half, Murillo, who was incredible. And when they got through him, they got a goalkeeper who's having an unbelievable season, Matt Sells. Yeah, they're not going to go away for us. They're going to be there or thereabouts in a Champions League spot, I think, just because they're very good at the system and how they play it. And they've got the players to do really well in that system. And they're flying. I know they've rode their luck a bit the last 25 minutes or so with the chances that Liverpool created, but I think they'll get a Champions League spot, I do.
You mentioned it there, but Murillo at the back, I mean,
Did you see his antics, yesterday, Gaz?
When he tried to shoot.
halfway line, bumping into people. Honest,
then he waved. He did his little apology to the manager, didn't he? When he had the shot and he got blocked. Sorry.
Oh,
brilliant.
He's mad, isn't he?
Yeah.
I love him, but he's been so good.
Yeah.
And consistent. He's good on the ball. He's got absolutely everything, actually. I think there's going to be a few suitors in the summer for him. Sorry, Forest fans. But having said that, if they get into the Champions League, he's not going to go anywhere, is he?
He had 17 clearances in the game, which is the most of any player this season in any game. See, these sort of stats I carry around.
Yeah. As H just passes them to you. Like I can't see you looking to your left.
It's all right. He's got an assist on fantasy for that one. So he'll get what's it, 3 points from an assist. You know, they're so strong. They don't give many goals away. And some of the saves Sells made, particularly towards the end. But about Liverpool, I had funny enough, 2 or 3 Liverpool fans that spoke to friends of mine. One of them, or a couple of them, went, "We're blowing it, aren't we? We're blowing it." And
really?
I'm thinking, no, you've got a 1-1 draw away from home at the team that's like one of your closest challenges. That is not a bad. You know what fans are like. It's everything is. It's either wonderful or terrible. But I mean, they've had a dip in where they were, but they're not losing games. They're still playing well, and
they're conceding a few goals, aren't they?
Yeah, but no one's actually making a real run at them anyway. I mean, it's not on that basis. So I still think it's going to take some stopping. I mean, you mentioned Newcastle, Alan, but what are they 9 points behind with a game in hand? Liverpool have got a game in hand as well, which is Everton.
That points tally has been beaten or more, hasn't it, before when Man United clawed it back from Newcastle in 95, was it 95?
Are you listening to this, Micah?
I'm honestly, I can't.
No, I'm just saying there has been bigger gaps that have been chased down over the years. So,
yeah.
But I don't know.
If Newcastle win the league, I'll do match of the day naked for Gaz's.
I wonder if they'd allow me to do one last show if that was the case.
Fucking hell, everyone would have to get widescreens for that night, wouldn't they?
Oh, don't go down that stereotypical route, Alan, please.
I didn't mean for that. I meant for his guns.
Why do you think he supports the Gunners? You've seen the Gunners logo?
Oh, God, I can't get that out of my head.
Oh, dear. You wouldn't want it anywhere near. Anyway, this can go on forever.
Oh, goodness me.
Oh, dear.
Oh, man.
I've completely forgotten where we were.
Liverpool.
Oh, yeah.
Forward options of Liverpool are scarily good.
So good. And we were bouncing about a little bit with this podcast, but it doesn't matter with the order of the games and stuff. But, oh boy, Manchester City, another, just as you start to think they're winning games again, 2-0 lead. I think Brentford deserved it, though, from what I saw. I was flicking around between matches a bit, but Brentford seemed to have a lot of chances, missed quite a few, and then came back. But all is still not well, is it, really, at the...
How do you say... Is it Mbumo? Is it Mbermo? Is it Burmo? What is it, Gaz?
Mbumo, I think.
Mbumo?
I think it's Mbumo. If you look at it, it's EU, isn't it? Not UE after MBUE. So I don't know. I can't be 100% sure, but I think most of the commentators call him Mbumo.
It's a different name. But anyway, excellent again. This was brilliant. I think Man City were doing some very good things going forward. I thought Foden played well. I thought Kevin De Bruyne played well. I thought they looked a lot more confident in forward areas. I think Haaland seems a little bit frustrated, but defensively, they're all over the place.
Your analysis was great on Match of the Day last night, Micah, of Man City.
Ooh, high praise.
High praise from Alan. But, I mean, you have Mateus Nunes and... So, the way City play, we know, I mean, don't have to be a rocket science. So, they're playing 4 at the back, but in possession, it's like a 3. So, they've got 3 at the back, and Mateus Nunes is making a midfield. So I get it. And Man City go into them situations a lot in the games. But when you break the line from Man City, from their midfield, everyone just seems to be all over the place. So there's always an overload at the back post. or there's someone not marking in the middle, or your midfielders are not tracking runners. Like all the things. You know, when Pep first come and it wasn't a great season, but you could see exactly what they was trying to do. It was high press, it was organisations, it was combinations, all the things. But all the things that Man City were good at in terms of winning the ball back within 3 to 4 to 5 seconds, they just don't do it anymore. And I know we've got younger players coming into the team, but you've still got to do the hard yards. And I don't want to call them weak because it's not, I don't think it's fair, but it's just, I don't know if it's low on confidence, but every cross that goes into the box, everyone in the box looks nervous. Like there's no real leadership to say, come on, or push up. It's just, everything's just too easy.
They look knackered at the last 10 minutes. They look knackered.
They did look absolutely shattered.
Brentford's XG was the highest of any team over the last couple of days.
Was it?
And credit to them as well.
Yeah, they deserved it, Brentford. They deserved something out of the game. They could even have nicked it at the end, couldn't they?
Chelsea, after having a terrific start to the season, have stuttered of late. A couple of defeats, couple of draws. Beautiful finish from Cole Palmer again. The way he just sent the goalkeeper down. I mean, he's just so calm, and it's a beautiful thing. But I mean, they did get a point in the end, and we know that Bournemouth are a tough team to play against. A good goal from Semenyo. That's a good finish. He's having a really good season.
They've got some really good players, Bournemouth. They're going to upset some more as the season goes on, there's no doubt. I thought they were a tad unlucky. I know Chelsea missed some big chances. Nicholas Jackson missed some bigger ones. Did you think it was a sending off, by the way? Was it Brooks on Cucurella?
I didn't.
No. Yeah, we were the same. Me and Micah thought it was the right decision what the ref... You're stuck to his guns, the referee, didn't he?
Chelsea at times make it a little bit easy for teams.
In what way?
So that they're really good going forward and they get the ball to Cole Palmer, then everyone goes herring forward and they do leave a lot of gaps. If you watch Chelsea play, on the counter-attack you can get at them. You can really get at them. And Bournemouth at times exposed that. I think Maresca talked about he was really impressed with what they was doing going forward, but when they asked him about winning the league, I remember he said it about a month ago, defensively, they're giving away too many chances. This Chelsea team's a young team, so you expect that, but you just think the chance that they had a couple of weeks ago, with the confidence they had, they could have, a couple more wins out there. They just could have really pushed for that league. But now, I just feel like it's a little bit too soon for them, and Bournemouth sort of exposed that a little bit yesterday.
A win for Graham Potter in his first game as West Ham boss. Quite interesting stats on this one, that Fulham had 21 shots. The game, of course, finished 3-2 to West Ham. Fulham had 21 shots at goal. West Ham had just 4. And the Hammers scored with all 3 of their shots on target. Just shows you one stat that matters, isn't it?
Did you see, though, 2 of the goals West Ham scored from Fulham trying to play it from the back? Oh, my word.
Your pet hate.
You hate it, don't you?
I don't mind if you play out from the back at all when you can. But there's a time, isn't there? And if you're not very good at it, then don't do it. It's like, I don't know. I was watching them thinking, no, and then the keeper got caught with one, didn't he, trying to play it? It's like, goodness me, incredible.
I mean, it's a bit early yet, but do you see any slight change in style for West Ham?
No.
Not yet, no.
Niente, nothing yet.
Niente.
we was looking at all the stats, I was thinking, they scored a few goals here. Did it do anything different? No, there wasn't anything. There was actually quite lucky. But it doesn't matter. A win's a win. We're happy for Potter. English manager getting a chance. There's going to be huge demand, though, at West Ham.
Yep, expectancy levels are high.
What would have changed, though, they would have been more optimistic. I think they got the fans never really connected with Lopetegui, did they?
Correct.
We didn't really see his style of player, what he wanted to do, etc. But I think there was more hope and encouragement in the stadium last night, or it sounded that way anyway, and that hopefully will help them going forward.
Okay, let's call it a day there. I'm going to start cheering Newcastle on now. so they win the league, because Micah's promised.
Oh, we don't want that, man, do we?
Of course you do.
And we want Newcastle to win the league, but we don't want that idiot on our TVs. We're now gone.
Big Meeks all oiled up. It'd be fantastic. We're like Mr. Motivator.
My goodness me.
Can you imagine? The viewing figures won't be the only thing that's huge. You guns, Mikey, you guns, obviously. That's it. We've come to the end of this week's episode of The Rest is Football. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.